Hi planty friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Isis from Rootbound Nursery, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 most common pests that you can get on your plants and how to treat them. Really quickly, before we get into this video, I just want to say there are way more pests than 5, obviously, but these are just the 5 most common ones, and this is not the end-all be-all guide. First and most common one is Fungusgnats. Now these little guys are annoying. You can usually tell that you have Fungusgnats because you'll see them flying around your house, or you can see them in the soil when you water the plant. Sometimes they'll fly out. I had a huge infestation of these when I brought home my Monstera adansonii. It was in my bedroom and I could literally see them flying around on the other side of the house in my living room. It was awful. Now these are one of the least harmful of all of these pests on this list. So if you have a huge infestation of them, they're more annoying than anything. I hate looking at them and I hate seeing them fly around. Sometimes my cats will try to catch them, which is nice, but there are a couple ways you can get rid of them. It does take some time, and I have never ever fully eradicated them. I just dwindled the population down by a lot. So the first way that you can get rid of them is actually by sticky traps. You can buy these at Home Depot, on Amazon, anywhere like that. The yellow color attracts them and they get stuck and die. You also want to make sure to let your plant dry out a little bit if it can afford to. Fungus gnats usually come because the soil is so moist, and that's where they lay their eggs. You can use neem oil, just spray the leaves and the soil every night. Try not to do it during the day because it can burn the leaves if the sun is hitting it. It would take maybe a couple times of doing this to really notice the population going down. You always want to try to get it before it gets too bad, because then it sucks. You can also sprinkle some cinnamon on the plant, some cinnamon on the soil of the plant. So I would just put cinnamon all around here. That way new eggs cannot turn into larvae and then push their way up. But that would have to be in conjunction with another type of care to get rid of the ones that fly. If you ever need neem oil, this is the one that I use. It's by Captain Jack's, and you can get this from the link in my description for my Amazon favorites. I have it in there under plant necessities, I think, and this works great. So the next one is spider mites. These ones are also pretty common, and no, they're not actual spiders. They're really, really tiny. They look like this. They're little white, like moving dots. You'll see them on the leaves, usually the base towards the stem area. So if you're looking at a plant, the most common place you'll find them is up here. And the easiest way to know if you have spider mites is usually down in this area, or sometimes here. Anywhere where there's like a gap between the leaf and stem, there's little tiny webbing. These ones are pretty damaging. They bite into the leaf and feed on the plant cells, so it does damage the leaves. The easiest way to try to combat them, or make sure you don't get them, is to remove any dead or dying leaves from the soil and from the plant itself. Immediately once you spot spider mites with any of these plants, you want to quarantine them as best as possible away from your other plants. But when you spot the spider mites, I usually take my plants into the shower and just run the shower over them to really drain everything off of the plant. I'll let it air dry for a little bit. Then I will spray it with insecticidal soap and or neem oil. So when you look right here, it tells you what this is good for. So neem oil says rust, powdery mildew, spider mites, and white flies. It doesn't say fungus gnats, but it works for fungus gnats. And then insecticidal super soap, Captain Jack's. You can get this from the link in my description also. This one deals with aphids, scale, thrips, spider mites, and 30 other ones. But you want to use both of those to eradicate the mite. You'll be able to kind of tell the spider mites are gone once you wait a while and you don't see any new spiders showing up or any new webbing. Once that happens, you are safe to put that plant back in your collection so that it doesn't spread. Next is actually one that I am unfortunately dealing with right now, and that's thrips. Thrips are annoying. They're probably one of the worst ones I've ever experienced. I haven't experienced the last two on this list, knock on wood, yet, but I bought a plant online from a seller and water propped it. I won't say any names, but I water propped the plant and then put it into soil, and as soon as I put it into soil, I noticed this type of look on the leaves, and at first I was like, well, that's weird. I don't know why it hates where it lives. It's in my cabinet. So I took it out, inspected it, and you can see the little thrips. They kind of look like really tiny grains of rice like this, and they cause immense damage to your leaves. The first time I ever dealt with thrips was on my peperomia frost. That thing was covered in thrip damage. It was awful. I ended up just throwing the plant away because I didn't want to deal with it. But this is my philodendron fuzzy petiole, and I really like it and I want to keep it. So this is what I'm doing. It's really important that you use insecticidal soap, not neem oil. This has like a type of dish soap already in it, and it kind of helps suffocate the pests. So you're going to want to spray the entire plant again at night, not when it's in sunlight or under a grow light so it doesn't burn. And then you want to spray the bottom and the tops of the leaves really well. You can wipe it or you could just leave it, let it dry, totally up to you. Part of what makes thrips so annoying is that sometimes you can see the damage, but you won't necessarily see the thrip causing the damage. So it's hard to tell when they're gone. The easiest way is when a new leaf comes in, watch that new leaf for a while, and if it doesn't have any damage caused to it, then you're probably safe to put it back. Thankfully with thrips, they don't really fly, so the only way that you can transfer it between plant and plant is if they're sitting really close together. So this plant probably wouldn't give thrips to this plant. All right, this one's gross, so sorry. I don't know if you don't like looking at like things that kind of look like scabs, but if not, maybe skip this part. It's called scale, and they kind of look like reddish or brown bumps or dots on the petiole and stem of the leaf like this. They're really gross to look at, and unfortunately with scale, it's really hard to tell because at first it just looks like weird little bumps until it's the whole stem looks like a scab. I need to go take the chicken out of the freezer. I forgot. Okay, where was I? So yeah, it's really hard to tell until it's like a really big infestation, which is disgusting. It looks so gross. Always, always, always check the plants that you bring home for pests. You'll also be able to tell because the leaves will feel or look kind of sticky. This is from something that they like excrete when they're like killing your plants. So disgusting. This one's a bit more annoying to get rid of. If you take a cotton ball and put rubbing alcohol on it, you can kind of like pick them off of the plant. And you can use either an insecticidal soap or diluted dish soap, and that'll help get rid of them too. For diluted dish soap, I think it's like 1 part dish soap to 4 parts water. You don't want it to just be dish soap, but you want a little bit in there. Last is aphids. These are little green bugs. They fly and they're ugly. They look a little bit rounder than thrips, but they're about the same general size. You'll see them on the front and the back side of the plant. And when there's a really big infestation, you'll see a bunch of them just like right there, kind of like this picture. It'll also have sticky leaves just like scale from the excrement that they put out. This is my cat Tommy. She just had surgery, so she's a little needy today. With this one, immediately you're going to want to have your plant take a shower just to spray all of them off that you can. And then you're going to use dish soap diluted with water or neem oil, whichever you prefer. That will kill the rest of the ones that are left over. Now with all of these pests, there are some things to know, although they are different. Usually treatment is around the same. I always just give a shower just in case. No matter the pest, you want to make sure to try and isolate the plant as best as possible, whether it be in another room or different side of the room that you have your plants in, whatever is manageable for you. And some ways that you can try to prevent pests in your home, cannot fully prevent it, but there are some precautionary measures to take, are checking over your plants all the time, the ones that you already own. I try to do this whenever I water the plant, maybe a little bit more if I get bored or something and I just want to look at them. And also checking the plants before you purchase them, especially from anywhere like a big box store. Places like Home Depot, Walmart, stuff like that are going to more commonly than not have pests already on those plants. So you want to just double check every plant that you bring home, no matter where you get it from. And if you're buying a new plant, always treat it as a preemptive measure with some neem oil and isolate it for maybe a week before introducing it into your collection. But that's it for this week's video. I hope this helped a little bit with getting to know some pests and how to take care of them. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them down below in the comments. And also don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button for more videos every Wednesday. Check out the description for some of those links, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!